Hello, dear friends, and welcome to your forecast for August 2020. This month, we have a special surprise for you. Together with Vicky from Chakra Boosters, we have prepared for you the astrology and also the chakra and the energy activations during the month. Very interesting combination. It was a great conversation, which I will share with you right now. Don't forget, on the 15th of August, we are starting a course in miracles. Incredible spiritual journey. It's priceless and also free for you. Check the links below and join us now. I'm leaving you with the forecast for August with me and Vicky. Please enjoy.
Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicky Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And welcome to your astrology and chakra forecast for August 2020. Yay! I have a very special guest today. You guys, I've been struggling along with the astrology all this time because I love the planets. I've been wanting to help you. But now I have a real astrologer who is joining me here today. It's Marina, and I'm going to try to say her last name. It's a tough one for me. Stoichkova. Stoichkova.
Yes. Yeah.
Close enough with my bad American accent.
Great. You're doing great.
How do you say it, Marina?
Hi, Vicky. It's Marina Stoichkova.
Stoichkova.
Yeah.
I was close that time.
Yeah.
So,
very close.
Yeah, and you're joining us from where?
From Bulgaria. It's in Europe.
And I'm in Sedona, so we're like 10 hours from each other on the planet. And I'm excited because today you've decided to join me for this. So you're going to bring all the dates, which is so much better. I'm going to ask the curious astrology questions. I will provide chakra stuff. You ask me any questions about chakras, and let's just see how it lands.
And we'll cover it all so that people are really prepared for this interesting month we have ahead.
Yeah, because I think you're going to bring more to the astrology dates, and then I'm going to bring the embodiment of what that looks like in the chakra.
Oh, absolutely. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, let's start out with the themes. The first theme that we already agreed, we talked and we agreed, and it's tough to bring it down to 3 themes. And of course, there's more in the month than just these 3 themes, and you're going to cover that. But the first main theme that we got was this is a fiery month, but not just fiery, but it also gives you the opportunity to use that fiery action for your visions and make them real in the real world. And I'm going to give it to you to explain what's going on with those 4.
Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. So the interesting part about this month is that we have 4 planets out of 10, which are in the signs that they rule. So you can imagine this as the planet coming back home, which allows the planet to provide the best possible for all of us. So we are talking about Neptune, Saturn, Mars, and the Sun. So we have a very powerful combination of 4 planets which can literally provide the best that they can. And how we may interpret that is that it's really a month of taking action, because Neptune and Saturn are there for a long time, so we are kind of used to those positions. But the fiery energy is very intense, and that's what we can feel more than ever. The Sun coming back home to Leo and Mars being in Aries for 6 months. So it's really about embracing the masculine energy and finding a constructive direction to focus, to do something, to express ourselves, and to really move forward. So I think this is definitely one of the key themes during the month. It's about the power of the fire energy that we can tune into. And you, Vicky, can bring the interpretation that we can add from the chakra perspective, because it's also quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. As you talk, I get more excited. I'm actually already feeling that energy. Are you? I mean, I get it ahead of time usually, and I'm already feeling like this push forward into.
Oh, yeah. And it's really hot, by the way, too. So lots of fire around.
It's literally hot here in Sedona, where I am in Arizona. And I just want to point out, for me, when you told me about the 4 planets, I was like, yay, because these 4 planets represent the highest chakra, the lowest chakra, because you have Neptune for crown. You have Saturn taking care of the root and the rules and the getting it done, you know, in the real world. And then you have these two in the center in the fire that are just saying, go for it. Like take action. Now, of course, they can bring up temper and all kinds of other shadow sides of fire. So I'm sure you're going to talk about that when you give us the dates. But let's move on to theme number 2, which is, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say that from an astrology perspective, it's about Mercury and the journey it will bring us and the opportunity to explore so many different topics. Because this month, Mercury will move through 3 different signs, which is quite rare. So we start with Mercury in Cancer, then it moves to Leo, and at the end of the month, it's already in Virgo, which, by the way, is also its strongest positions, or one of the strongest positions. So Mercury can bring also lots of ideas, lots of new opportunities to explore things, to learn, to gain new experiences. And from an astrology perspective, it also means that Mercury is moving really fast. When a planet crosses a sign that fast in this way, it means that it's moving really fast. And this can bring really unexpected ideas or sudden opportunities, or we can just think faster, you know. So I think this will be quite exciting for the following month as well.
Yeah, and anyone who knows me knows that I'm a bit of a nodal junkie. So I'm aware that we've just recently in May, first part of May, turned into the North Node of Gemini. So I'm sort of excited because Mercury it's the other planet for Gemini, right? And so I'm excited to explore. I feel like it's almost like every time we come into new node, going toward a North Node, I feel like, okay, this is my new lesson, right? My new soul lesson, my new thing to pay attention to. And I feel like we did that so well. We finished with the Capricorn Cancer, because we all came home from work with COVID and everything. We went from Capricorn to Cancer big time with COVID. So now I feel like I'm getting like shivers as I say that. And I feel like I'm so excited that this is like our first chance to really play, like you said, as Mercury quickly moves through these different signs. We get to see, okay, this is what I like when I have ideas like this, when they're in Cancer. This is what it's like when they're in Virgo. And that's exciting to me. Because
so I was wondering, Vicky, which chakra do you think will be triggered the most by this Mercury?
By that aspect, it's going to be the throat chakra, no question. Media, connection, ideas, how you said ideas come up with... this is really the throat chakra is where we begin to get into the miraculous area of the divine. So this is where those incredible ideas that like take a quantum leap come from. And that's exciting for me. So this to me is always the miracle and excitement chakra where everything begins. It's also about communication, of course, which is Mercury. And it connects us on that spiritual level. And it's the beginning of innovative ideas. This is where we change old ways.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about change, isn't it? Mercury's a lot about change. And I know this is the growth and change chakra because it's the first of the spiritual.
Yeah, Mercury can also bring ideas which are related to different possibilities or even different areas, because it triggers 3 different signs through the month. So we start the month in a little bit more kind of emotional way with Mercury in Cancer, making us a little bit more subjective, taking all the information, processing it in a more emotional way. Then we get to Mercury in Leo, which is about the self-expression. But the other side of it is that we can be more subjective with this position, and it might be more about us talking and not so much about us listening to others. So watch out for this because it may come. Yeah. And at the end, around the last week of August, Mercury is coming home to Virgo. So it's more about the really logical perspective, the ability to analyze everything properly, not just to come from your own subjective experience, but to kind of analyze what you really have, what you see. So it may help us to be also more grounded, more practical in terms of decisions we take, and eventually to succeed when we are more consistent with our ideas and we are more committed. So we have like a real journey.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I like the evolution that I hear you. It's like an evolution of communication, connection and ideas, like an evolution. And it sounds like it's maturing throughout the month. So,
Oh, yeah. And we end the month in a very nice note with Mercury coming home. So those ideas may really be something practical, something concrete that we can achieve. It's not just about daydreaming.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and this last theme then is about expecting the unexpected, and I will
Oh,
turn that
yeah.
over to you in the middle of the month.
Oh, yeah. So what we have, guys, is Uranus turning retrograde. And it happens right at the middle of the month, so on the 15th. But one thing I want to clarify. So Uranus is not really like Mercury going retrograde. So it doesn't mean that, for the following months, we should expect some problems or issues. Not like that. But the exact shifts, so when the change happens, so Uranus is moving direct. At certain point, it stops, and that's what's going to happen on the 15th this month, and then eventually turns retrograde. So those are the key moments. Those are the key periods when we have this shift. And it's not just on this exact day. We may feel this sometimes 5-6 days before and after. So I should say, right, the middle of the month.
The middle, like
Yeah.
10 to 20-ish. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And it can be quite intense. There could be both a positive and a challenging perspective. So like always, it depends on how we use the energy, by the way, because sometimes it could be quite stressful. We may find ourselves like, okay, so many surprises. I have this tension. I have this desire, but what should I do? And it's a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
Mhm.
But the message here is to make some changes. This is the message of Uranus. So make a change, try something new. Don't be afraid to experiment. And we are going to get to the full moon as well, which also triggers Aquarius. We also have some other Uranus energies. So the month can be quite dynamic, and it's really about making some changes. I was wondering, actually, through times of changes, what we can do energetically, or which chakra may help us to handle better.
We've actually had a lot of it this year. It's the Capricorn in the root. The Virgo can help too.
Yeah.
It can give us a feeling of home, and again, earth as well, because they're both earth
Uh-huh.
signs. Whereas
Yeah.
Taurus is a little different, but any of the earth signs can help us because they tend to draw us into the root. I would say my curiosity is, it's funny, I got a little ding here, so I want to make sure I turn off any notifications. But what I've done in the past is I always say, okay, when the ding comes, what was it? What got dinged? And what got dinged there was what you asked, was we need that grounding this month. And we can get it from the root chakra signs that are the earth signs usually in that. So that's where I get it. So just doing more grounding this month, especially too with the fire, the two things that are needed are grounding and heart. Heart really is needed to balance, because those are the two middle chakras. The solar plexus is the third, the heart is the fourth. They trade off. The solar plexus is me, go, go, and change, make it different, analyze it. And the heart is accept it, love it, all about others, connecting to others. They're almost opposite, and they help balance each other out. So I know you're going to talk a lot about fire. So when you get into the dates, we're just going to remind people, open that heart, balance out that solar plexus that wants to make it so focused and so me and so action fiery. The masculine, right? The heart is the feminine that's right next to that. They're like the marriage. So I was going to ask you something real quick about Uranus. It is the planet. It's that rules Aquarius, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we are pretty much, you feel like we've stepped into the age of Aquarius now. It feels like just recently did it in a very literal way. Like we used to talk about it in the 70s, but we finally have really done it. So I feel like it's almost to keep that in mind too, that these changes can be bigger changes and these big spiritual changes that we've been inviting for a long time. What do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And even on a social level, like humanity and what we are doing all as a group. And there are some important transformations coming in front of us for sure. And we can experience that in a different way personally, as we may guess. But here, the point is not to resist the change. Like this is like the worst thing you can do when there are Uranus transits or Uranus energy. If you resist the change, it will hit you really hard.
It's like hitting your head against a wall, right? It's there. The change is going to happen.
Oh yeah. And the more flexible you are and open to make some changes, to take certain risks, the better. Of course, we don't talk about reckless decisions, because that's the other polarity which we might experience this month, actually, with all this Uranus and fiery energy in combination. We might get to taking some decisions which are not that reasonable, and that's gonna cost us more.
I can feel that energy that you're talking about. And the chakra anecdote this month would be to focus on our sacral a little bit more, which also douses the fire. It's the water and the feminine that always flows with change. It is literally change, the sacral chakra. So, moving more, being in flow, being in the feminine, being in play, being in dance. It feels super important this month.
Oh, absolutely. And what I can add here is that Venus is going to help us in this direction as well, because Venus is moving to Cancer after the 7th of the month. So Venus was in Gemini for quite a long time. Venus was retrograde there. So literally for a couple of months, Venus was there. And Gemini is a very rational sign. It's about, paying attention to the details. It's not a really strong position for Venus, but Venus moving to Cancer gets closer to its nature. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like it's the feminine energy.
Water sign of Cancer, mother loving energy. To me, that's a dovetail. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
So
and I think that it may really help us to balance all the other masculine, fiery energies that we have around. So it's just nurturing ourselves, first of all, but also paying attention to other people, the people that we love. And again, the other possibility here is that we might take certain things too personally. Venus in Cancer sometimes might be too sentimental, a little bit dramatic, a little bit crying every now and then. So try to skip that part if possible. But, even this may help you to get closer to your emotions. Because with Venus in Gemini, we were too much in the mind, and we sometimes forget about the heart, our desires. Now we are coming back more to the heart, as you said. So it really makes sense. And I think it can work in a very positive way for all of us.
That feels really delicious to have Venus there. And the more you talk, and you're about to go into the dates, but the more you just talk in this intro, we've covered a lot actually. The more I realize what a full activation month this really is for the chakras. Because even just the 4 planets that are in the home, we've got the highest, the lowest, and then 2 in the middle just going, let's go forward. And then you bring up Venus that softens those 2 in the middle a little. So it brings us into sacral and heart. Right. There's a lot happening this month. We have a chance to really be in all of us, but it also means we have to juggle more energies. We have to,
and we have the Mercury activation of the throat chakras. So it's really a lot.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's just like nothing's missing, because really the 6th and the 7th, the third eye, the higher self, and the allness they're just so close. They're so similar that they're both Neptunian. They've got that Pisces energy. They've got, so we're really looking at total activation this month. So I'm excited. So are you ready to do the dates for us? I'm not going to do them all, but I think you've picked 7 or 8 of them for us for this month.
Yeah, I would like to go with the key events, which are the most important, so that people would really know what's the most important through the month. Right. So first of all, we have a full moon right at the beginning of the month, on the 3rd actually. And it triggers Aquarius Leo. So again, this axis. So again, we have some kind of repetition of the same things, by the way. Leo, so everything you just said, the solar plexus and all this fiery masculine energy. And Aquarius, the Uranus energy, which is about the community. It's about the transformation. It's about the new changes coming ahead. So it can be quite exciting. And it's also time to find the balance. This is one thing we can do during full moons, find the balance and try to combine things that may look like, oh my gosh, it's so different. I have to choose. Well, you don't necessarily need to choose. Sometimes the answer is try to combine and try to balance and see what you can do with all of that. And also, full moons are great for releasing the past. So if you have something you would like to let go, this might include relationship, work, beliefs, negative experiences, memories, whatever. It's a great time just to let it go. You might do some kind of ritual. It doesn't need to be complicated, but something which would be like a symbol. I'm letting this go. I'm on my own now, moving forward. The future is in front of me, because the future really is here. It's about Aquarius and the Uranus energy, which is so intense this month. So I think that one of the best things we can do is let go of the past and just prepare for this future. And this is also an area where you can make changes. So it may work in different ways. You might let go of something, you might celebrate, and you may also have a clearer vision. When the moon is, like, literally, if you imagine during the full moon how bright and big is the moon, this is the only time when we can see all of it. And this is a symbol of how we can realize something internally. We can get some insights, we can get some wisdom. And Aquarius, it's also about that. So I would say to celebrate our ideas, our individuality, and most importantly, especially if we try to combine Leo and Aquarius, it's how we are all different and yet we are the same and together. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
sounds
God.
pretty amazing.
It was like my body was leaning into everything you were saying. And then when you said that last part, because to me, that is the age of Aquarius. So how we are all unique and we're all connected and we're all on this planet together.
Yeah, and even globally, if you look what's happening in the world, it's also the message, even though we are, most of us, alone at home, but we are still together in it. And we find ways. Look how, powerful ways we have to connect, even doing this amazing thing together. So why don't we celebrate what we have, and to celebrate the change that's coming, even if it feels uncertain, because it definitely feels uncertain, but to be open for the new. That's like the best we can
So
do.
we're going to celebrate like whatever's come and that we're moving into this new age. And that feels good to me. So what's next on that?
Oh, yeah. So the other thing I want to mention also is that Mars is having 3 challenging aspects through the month. Mars being in Aries will square 3 planets which are in Capricorn. So we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. You want me to give the exact dates? Maybe it can help people. So
can you?
Yeah, we talk about the 4th of August, Mars squaring Jupiter, then the 13th, Mars squaring Pluto, and then the last one is on the 24th. So like the first, the second, and the third part of the month, they are kind of even. And when Mars is squaring other planets, it means that we may need to change our approach of the actions we take. We may need to respect certain boundaries or even limitations. And I'm not saying just give up on that and, be passive. Not at all. Just be prepared that whatever you want to accomplish may require more effort. It may require a different vision. The square with Jupiter, changing your mindset, changing your perspective. With Pluto, this may bring intense passion, and sometimes it gets too too intense and a little bit obsessive. Actually, I was wondering, can we relate this to one of the chakras when we have Mars squaring Pluto and we have this intensity? Can it be the second chakra?
Well, interestingly, no, because for me, the second is the Venus energy. It's the water. It's the emotion. Soft. It's the surrender. It floats down the river. It's actually the 2 surrounding it, the root and the solar. It's the men fighting it out. It's the men fight. It's like, here are the root chakras and Saturn and all. You have the laws. You have and Pluto is almost below that. Pluto is the intensity that's hell. It's the underworld.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think of Pluto as almost a sub-root chakra. I think of it as like the deepest root. like
Oh,
the
that's so interesting.
you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? It's like I feel it
Yeah.
as root, but then below root. I got chills again as I said that. I feel it's intense. It's our hero's journey through the underworld whenever we hit
Oh, yeah.
Pluto. And when
Yeah.
I think of Mars, for right or for wrong, I'm always thinking, the warrior fighting, just the immature, straightforward solar plexus fire that's not taking the heart into account as much, not taking the surrender into account. So this would be the two sort of male energies that are like, okay, we're going to duke it out. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
deepest one, the darkest one, the underworld energy when it comes to Pluto, if that's what
Yeah.
were you asking about the
Yeah.
Pluto?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that does feel intense to me too.
Oh, it definitely is. And, with Mars, what we need to be careful with is that Mars needs direction. As you said, it can really be immature sometimes. It might be too impulsive, just moving forward, not thinking about consequences, not thinking about other people. That's what we need to be careful with. And maybe those challenging aspects that we are experiencing through the month may allow us to learn those lessons, to kind of direct this force or this energy in a more constructive direction, not to be completely, ahead and to forget all of the rest, but to be a little bit wiser when it comes to our actions, what we are going to do, what we are going to focus on. And based on that, we can assign certain meaning, because with Mars, one of the problems sometimes is that Mars on its own doesn't have a clear goal. So we need the other planets to bring this sense of goal or direction. So this might be one of the questions we can explore also through the month. And again, activating the first theme we mentioned, all about the fire energy. But, this fire energy needs direction. Otherwise, yeah, it could be quite sometimes even destructive, or at least too intense.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have to admit that. And what I get when you're talking is I want to remind people that you aren't using, when you're doing Mars, it's a straightforward solar plexi. So it's like a gun. And you're not shooting, it's not a water gun, it's not a squirt gun. That would be sacral. This is a fire gun. This is a blowtorch. So my question to ask people for this month with that in mind is, what does your mature masculine want to do? And your mature masculine defers to the feminine. Your mature masculine listens to the feminine and then gets a goal for the all, for the mass, for everyone, for the family, if it's a man, or for, I'm just using that as an analogy. But what does your mature masculine want to do this month? That would be my big question.
Oh, yeah. And one thing I want to add here is that Mars is also supporting the full moon. One thing I didn't mention before. So Mars is having positive aspects with both the sun and the moon, which really shows that this is the solution. This is the key to navigating this process. And what's even more interesting is that Mars is also supporting the new moon as well, which would be on the 18th. So it looks like Mars really is the key during this month. It's like the most important planet, and it's all about finding the right direction. Yeah, we have this intense fiery energy that needs to be directed, but also to be kind of wise and to think about the consequences.
Okay.
But I think that overall it can be quite encouraging, and we may really feel this passion and desire. So I think that desires will be quite strong through the month with all the other energies as well. Yeah.
I agree completely. So what are our next dates coming up?
Okay, so then we get to a different phase. So around the 22nd of the month, things are shifting. So before that, we have all of this intense fiery energy. Even the sun is having a positive aspect with Mars. So it's all coming together to what we just said. But after actually from the 19th and then the 22nd, Mercury and then the sun are moving to Virgo. So all of that will be more balanced. We won't have so much intensity, so much of probably the solar plexus energy. We have a more grounded, practical energy, which would be the Virgo type. And it's about more taking care. It's about serving other people, because before that, with all this fire, it's really about me. What do I want? What other people should do for me and all of that, what they owe me. Well, with this Virgo energy at the end of the month, the question is more like, how can I help other people? How can I serve them? How can I take care of whoever I want or whatever I'm passionate about? But it's more like coming back to earth a little bit, being a little bit more practical and grounded. And of course, this also comes with more practical approach, with more opportunity also to materialize things. So the end of the month actually might be quite different than the beginning.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that I feel like because it's such a full month, and we've been telling people, bring the earth energy and the heart and everything to soften that too much I-ness, like be even in service in the I-ness. Then when you get to the end of the month, keep bringing the fire, even though we're done, Leo moves, the sun changes and everything, and we're going into Virgo. Keep your passion rolling, because everyone knows momentum, what's already in motion, can move in motion. Just give it more earth now. So I love that. So it's not, even though the planets might look a little this and then this, we can actually bring Virgoan or root chakra attention and heart chakra attention to the beginning of the month, the first 2/3 of the month, and then in the end of the month we can just keep our fire rolling, but now in a more Virgoan way, like you said, more logical, more thought out, detail oriented, helping others, being in service. So I'm excited about the whole month.
Yeah, it's like a transition from, first of all, experiencing those desires or wanting to do something passionately. That's the fire energy. But then when we get to the Virgo season, it's also about, okay, so I have this vision, or I have this idea or this desire. What should I do in order to accomplish that? Because sometimes fire is more about the action, but not so much about the details or the exact strategy. So moving to the Virgo season, we may need to be more precise. As you said, that's a great idea. Keep the momentum, keep the passion, but now what are the concrete steps you can take in order to fulfill this desire? So it really makes sense, actually. Those transitions, they are not random. It's not, oh my gosh, now, like here we have Leo, then it's Virgo, and there is no connection. There always is connection, and there is a meaning if we can get there. So absolutely.
And with bringing in the chakras and the astrology, I think you and I, we're just going to be bringing in more and more of these connections, which is exciting. It's never an either or. All energy is present at all times. And so, but there's just different emphases at different times. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think those are like the key things we have to pay attention to astrologically. And that should be enough for people like to, concentrate on this and on that. And I think that finding the balance, as always, is like a great thing to do. And maybe we can also add some other insights from the cards that you are going to pull, Vicky, right?
Well, wasn't sure we were going to have time to do it even. So I haven't even shuffled them. So I'm going to shuffle them 3 times. The magic number. And then we will pull out 2. We'll pull 1 for the first half of the month. And what I want to do is just be playful with it. And I invite everyone who's watching, all of you at home, be super playful with it. Just like, what's your first hit when we pull a goddess? You don't have to know the history. You don't have to know anything. Just, how does she personally speak to you? And then we'll each give our idea of how that affects it. So for the first half of the month, we have, I keep pulling her lately. It's Unconditional Love, Mary Magdalene. So we were going to start out with that fire right away. What did we say? We need heart chakra energy to balance. So thank you, Mary. She seems really good that she came up. It says, love yourself, others, in every situation. We got that Uranus. No matter what the outward appearances may be. I don't know if there's too much to say about that one. It seems like it's
you know what? I think it resonates very well with Venus moving to Cancer. I feel like, it's all about the motherly, the supportive, nurturing energy. So probably that's kind of like a hint for us, or a key, what can help us get through that.
Navigate this, because nothing navigates fire like heart, you guys. And because root sometimes almost makes you more, it does give it more direction, but can make it overly masculine, because while you pointed out, sometimes we lack direction, but sometimes we have direction and there's still a ruthless energy, a singular energy, a not looking at everyone. And Mary's reminding us that we need lots of heart, because wherever you have lots of fire, you need lots of air, lots of heart chakra. You need lots of unconditional love. And I'm so glad when you brought up that Venus is going to be supporting us, because I don't know, you moved in my heart when you said that.
Yeah, it really makes sense. I think that all of it fits very well together. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's the first half of the month. You guys really remember Mary and remember your unconditional love, and no matter what happens outwardly. And then the second one we have, oh, this is funny. So this is almost what I was saying a moment ago. So now this is super solar plex. It's Freyja. She's about boldness. And I will put these up maybe, and although I'm showing these pretty well right now, unleash your adventures, your adventurous side, take risks and be daring. So this is what I was trying to say, Marina, when that fire that we have all month, as it starts to naturally subside a little when it goes into Virgo, is when we can actually do the most with it. It's when now, like you said, we've got more logic around it, more service around it, more earth around it, more balance around it. So don't lose it. Stay bold in the second half of the month. Keep rolling. That's for me what it means. Keep rolling with this energy, with this fire. What do you get from Freyja? Anything?
And I also think that it resonates very well with the new moon in Leo, which we have on the 18th. So it's still kind of like the beginning of the second half. So it's about taking action. It's about committing to your passion and doing something about it. Because the new moon, it's about kind of like you becoming the warrior or stepping up or doing something. It doesn't necessarily need to be like something really masculine, but because this time we have all of that happening in Leo, the sign of the sun, which is a masculine sign. So I would say this month, you really need to go after it. So it really looks like someone preparing to take action, getting all the resources. What I saw from the card, this is like a woman who have like lots of resources, and she is kind of like showing other people what they can.
I love like you. There she is. That's what you're talking about. Look, she's got cats are always solar plexus animals, the cats, right? So the whole thing is gold. There's this, the cards themselves are yellow, the goddess cards. So you don't count that yellow, but in her outfit and everything, it's gold. You couldn't be any more Leo-ish in a feminine way. And so this brings into me the Virgo, the virgin energy, the service, the balance of that. So it's like, the whole thing says go for it.
And Virgo is a sign which is associated to animals as well. So it's
got the animal,
it really
right?
comes
She's
together.
got the fiery animal. This isn't like the huge lion that I often see. It's the cat's a little softer. So that's almost like the Virgo influence of it. Because normally with Leo, it'd be like a lion, solar plexus energy. So let's just talk real quick to end, because I don't know that we talked about this. And I specifically usually ask people to consider doing a new moon ritual, because that's when we're starting anew, and light a candle. And then I usually give them some areas around that sign. And better, even better than me, what kinds of questions could we ask ourselves when setting an intention on the 18th around Leo? What are intentions that are related to Leo?
Those are the intentions related to committing to what we really want. First of all, recognizing that, and anything that would bring you joy. That's the most important. The fire brings joy, but the sun even more, and the Leo energy. It's about joy. It's about the passion. So what's the thing that would bring more passion into your life? The answers are so different for different people. It might be spending more time with your kids or with your loved one, or it could be creativity, self-expression to creativity, doing something beautiful, stepping up, sharing who you really are. So I think that's like the key question people should ask themselves. What would bring me more joy and passion in my life?
And one other thing for me that Leo's representing that I've dealt with over the years is stepping up and being seen. Okay, like whenever I think Leo, Marina, I see like the little kids standing on the table going, or at the monkey bars at school going, look at me. And I think particularly in our arena, with my tribe and perhaps with yours, there's a spiritual thing that's sort of like, don't look at me, like, but if we want to make this new age, I feel it's important. So I'd like to offer
Yeah.
the intention that if you are watching this and you're not letting yourself, you're not just following your passion completely, but also because you're afraid to be seen, that maybe
Yeah.
an intention is about, let me be seen, so that I can serve, let me show up
Totally.
in all my
Yeah.
life. Because what's that quote from, there's a quote from Marianne Williams where she talks about how we're not really afraid of failure. Our biggest fear is our light and our success.
Yeah. And what I can add here is also to recognize the star within ourselves, because the sun is the only star in the solar system. And it's kind of like on a different level. And this month, with all these things happening, fiery energy, sun energy, new moon in Leo, it's also about feeling like you are the star in the film of your life. So step up and don't be afraid, and just show who you truly are. And after that, like, incredible things are happening for you. So
Yes, we're
yeah.
going to end on that. We can't end on a better note, you guys.
Oh
That's
yeah.
so beautiful, Marina. Thank you. This has been so much fun. You guys, make any comments, anything you want us to add, anything you need, just let us know, and we'll develop this into a way that serves you the best while we're still having fun, right?
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Vicky, for having me. It was such a pleasure to be together with you. And I think we covered like so many different perspectives. It's the chakra, and it's the energy, and we have the planets. And if we can really find how all of that works together in a great way.
Mhm.
So I hope we served people. I hope we have inspired them. And yeah.
You have inspired me so many times throughout. I just wanted to touch my heart. Like, I was just like, oh, like that last thing you said. It was like, wow, that's so beautiful. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope we'll do this again next month.
Oh,
And until then,
absolutely.
thank you everyone for joining us. We love you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.